Welcome back to Benchmark Radio. I'm Ben. I have Mark here today, and welcome to episode 6
of the Benchmark Radio podcast.
How you doing today, Mark?
I'm not doing too bad. It's been a good day. I feel loose. I feel ready to talk. My vocal cords are warmed up.
Yeah.
Just had a bowl of ice cream, so I'm all
sugared up.
My mouth is all lubed up.
Right. Well, so actually, when Mark came over today, he tells me, he said, "Come outside real quick." I'm like, "Oh, geez, here we go." So
He's making it sound worse than it is, but that's how this.
Can
guy
I
is.
tell the story?
He's a little short, so he's gotta make up for some things. You can do that in other things too, Ben, don't you? Ladies, if you're talking to Benjamin over here, I would not take anything he says with a grain of salt because he might embellish just a wee bit.
I don't know what you're doing there, buddy, but you have a problem interrupting because you interrupted my story, Mark.
I'm deeply sorry. What were you saying? Continue, please.
Well, I was about to shit talk you, actually, so I'm
going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you again at that point.
Oh, no. All right. So basically, he tells me, "Come outside, Mark." And I says, "All right, I'm coming out." And
what do you see when you get out there?
I see him messing around with his hood open. I said, "No, that's a Chevy. That's what you're going to have."
The hood of my truck, not the fly on my pants. Let's just keep that clear.
Yeah. Keep your ears open and the flies closed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what we like to say here on the Benchmark Radio podcast.
Yeah. So I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, the truck won't start." Wow. Well, first of all, why do you need it to start again if you just parked it? And how'd you get here if it wasn't starting? That was my question. He's like, "Can I steal one of your batteries? Because I have 2 batteries because I'm cool in my truck." So we take one of mine out to see if he has a bad battery. Still won't crank over. I'm like, well,
it feels like the engine is tight, is what it feels like.
It didn't sound like a starter. So I'm like, is your alternator bad? So then he steals my tools. Doesn't put them back correctly.
One tool.
No, I had the whole set. Bring over the whole set.
But I only used one.
Well, then why'd you need the whole set? I said, "What do you want? Quarter-inch drive, 3/8, half-inch."
You never know.
Bring it all.
It's like when you go back.
It's like using hand tools.
It's like when you go to the Fleet Farm. You're gonna have to make 6 or 7 trips. I wanted to bring the Fleet Farm to me.
I like that. That's a good one.
We could put that on a shirt.
Yeah, bring the Fleet Farm to you. We bring the Fleet Farm to you. Mobile
true.
services.
Benchmark services. We bring
the Fleet Farm to you.
Fleet Farm.
We love it. Wait. Let's redo that. You do it. Yeah, you do
Fleet Farm.
We love it. That is actually Miles and Charlie from the Bellied Up podcast. That is not ours. We just want to give them credit for that.
But we still like saying it, and it's still fun to say.
It's fun to say. It really is.
And we love the Fleet Farm.
Well, we do.
If it was Valentine's Day, I would ask Fleet Farm on a date.
You know what? Me too.
That's kind of awkward.
I love long romantic walks in Fleet Farm. I think I've said that on here before.
I have a shirt like that with that actually on it from the Fleet Farm.
I'd rather be at Fleet Farm.
That was an investment. Some people pull tab invest. I pull tab invest, but other people buy Fleet Farm merch because like when you're a dad and your kids are young, something like that is going to come back in style. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that one. I don't think a $15 Fleet Farm shirt's going to be worth
so?
something. Come on now.
There's like all those old rock T-shirts that are coming back in style.
Yeah, I suppose Nirvana, AC/DC,
Kiss.
Play on work of AC/DC.
Mm-hmm. So you were starting off with shit talking my truck?
Yeah, it's a piece of shit.
No, it's not. Just got back from the shop.
A Ford had to jump you. Yeah, you just proved my point. You said it just got back from the shop.
Because it was running. There was so much power coming out of the engine that it rattled itself loose.
Oh, really?
Do you want to hear the story?
Let's hear it.
Are you done? Are you done over there?
Oh, I could
keep
going.
Settle
if you
down.
want.
Drink your Karuba here. Take a little sip of
That's
your Karuba.
just a prop today. There's nothing in that one today. Got the good old Kirkland. Costco, not sponsored.
Costco water. Okay, we're gonna do. We can't really do a poll with this, but if we can't really do a poll with this, but if we. Like, we're going to, in the Spotify, you guys can leave comments, and on the YouTube, let us know what your Costco has. Because I think different Costcos, don't they have different food court items?
No, I think the food court all stays the same.
Across all Costcos? I don't know, because I've, like, on TikTok and stuff like that, I've seen ones where it's like they got a cookie, or they got roast beef sandwiches, or they got like mango smoothies instead of fruit smoothies. You know what I mean? Or like salads.
Maybe.
I feel like across, but let us know because I'm curious. I don't really know, but I think that some Costco food courts have different food items. Up here in Wisconsin, we got the chocolate chip cookie that was actually new in the past couple months.
Yeah.
And then we still got the fruit smoothie. We got the coffee blend
I miss
drink.
I miss the yogurt.
They
'Cause
don't
now
have,
it's ice cream.
They got the soft serve ice cream. They still got the pizza and the hot dog. But then I think they got the chicken bake, and then I think they got the chicken Caesar salad, and then they got like a hot turkey or a cold turkey sandwich.
Yeah, and then the roast beef one, or was that?
They swapped that out with
Really?
the cold turkey.
Yeah, that one wasn't really good, was it?
It was okay. It was. I wish it
For
was
$10
warm.
though, like come on.
It was big though. I mean, you can't really complain. Anyways, with my truck. So March 11th, a day that will live in infamy. No, March 11th, I dropped my truck off. And the reason I dropped my truck off is because it's got a carbureted engine, you know? So when I start it, well, I'd say since the start of the year, I replaced the clutch slave cylinder, I replaced the starter, and that's about it. And I put new tires on it, but that has nothing to do with this. Anyways, so I've already told a bunch of this story, but what was happening is when I would start it, it's like cold out here in Wisconsin. It's like 30s, 20s sometimes when you're starting it in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was starting it and it would just crank and crank, and it would like sputter too, which I thought was weird because I'm like, either it's not getting enough fuel or the mixture is just way off, but it would just crank and crank, but it would sputter, be like, rumba, 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 you know, and then, but it would never fully start and turn over. And then finally, like, I would be pushing it all the way to the floor, thinking I flooded it, then I would let it off, then I would pump it 3 times, just dick around with it. Nothing worked. And then every so often it would start, and then like I would do it where like I'd leave the key on so that the fuel pump would run for like 15 seconds and then try and start it, you know. I didn't know what was going on. Up was down, left was right, day was night. But
night was day.
Night was day, but pants were
yeah.
on, pants were off. Anyways, but I didn't know what was going on. And so what I did is I thought, I got to get this fixed. It's like I tried dicking around with it. I tried, you know, looking on the old YouTube mechanic and fixing it and adjusting the carburetor. And originally, like I'd say a couple months ago, something happened with the carburetor where it wasn't idling right. Like it seemed like it was idling a little bit low and it would always stall out. So I turned up the idle screw, didn't think anything of it. But then it would always diesel when I would shut it off. And it's a gas truck. It would go, you know, you know, anyways. So then I'm like, well, I dicked around with it, didn't really know what was going on. So then I took it to this shop, you know, and it's a local shop here in Germantown. I'm going to plug them. They're not a sponsor, but they do good work, and they actually do a lot of good work for my boss and all of his vehicles. It's called Village Service here in Germantown, Wisconsin. It's owned by 2 brothers. Anyways, I bring it in there, and I say, it's a carbureted truck. It's an old 89 Chevy K2500 with the 5.7 liter, actually 350 engine with a block from a 70s Malibu and headers from a 98 Vortec.
Oh, jeez.
So it's kind of a smorgasbord for my first episode of a little charcuterie board of an engine. And they're like, okay, yeah, we got a couple.
Could go for a charcuterie board right now.
We should have a charcuterie board on the podcast.
Oh, we should do that.
If anybody would like to sponsor the charcuterie board, and if anybody would like to say what kind of charcuteries, is that what you call charcuterie items? Charcuteries.
Okay.
If anybody would like to sponsor or like have any ideas of charcuteries, because we can do the cheese, we can do the wine, we can do the crackers.
Not a wine guy, but no.
A whiskey.
Yeah.
I could go for a whiskey.
Yeah.
Or we could have sausage, Wisconsin sausage.
You know, some summer sausage, some pepper jack.
Little pepper jack cheese.
Oh, you know, what's your favorite cheese, Mark?
My favorite cheese. I think my favorite.
You a Gouda guy? You look like a Gouda guy.
That white sharp cheddar is my favorite.
Really?
I love white sharp cheddar. I could just eat that by the brick.
Yeah, I'm more of a pepper jack guy myself. I mean, that's
I don't
pretty
mind
basic,
pepper
but
jack. I like pepper jack on a burger if I want a little spice.
I feel like I'll say this. I feel like you're a man. You grow up when you like pepper jack. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's when you become
American
a real man.
is not even cheese. You're also a man when you stop eating American cheese.
Yeah, that's nasty. I wish Culver's, because all they have is American and Swiss.
Yeah.
I don't mind Swiss, but if they could do some pepper jack on there,
Yeah.
that's a game changer.
Pepper jack would be good. Culver's is kind of.
They're expensive now.
They are. Everything's expensive, but Culver's, like yesterday, I went there for a thing of large cheese curds, and then I said, "Can I get ranch and honey mustard?" 35 cents a sauce. They don't even give one sauce for free.
That's crazy.
You know, it's just.
I mean, 35 cents ain't much, but still.
But just they're nickel and diming.
They are nickel and diming.
You know, that's That's my offering plate money right there that I'm giving for a couple sauces. So you know what I do? You know what I does? You know,
You ask for it after you pay at the window. That's what you do. I do
That
that
is-
all the time, and
Pro
they're
tip.
too nice. They're just too nice to do it.
pro tip today on the Benchmark Radio podcast. Pro tip. What's the
Ask-
pro tip?
Ask for your sauce after you get your card back, and
Pro tip.
9 out of 10 times they're nice enough, or they'll just give it to you.
I was gonna say
I
that.
don't know why we're whispering.
I was gonna say that I took the 35 cents was my church money, and then I was gonna say that I took the extra sauce and gave it to the pastor, but that's kind of a stupid joke.
That's okay. They're
Like I
not all
said-
winners, right?
Like I said, they only
They're not
land
all winners.
25% of the time. Anyways, my story. I dropped it off at the auto shop, and they said they got 2 older fellas that can look at it. So a week goes by, or no, like I dropped it off on a Tuesday. Friday they call me up and says, we looked over your truck, and of course, you know, they're like, you need like a new front end. They're like, you need a new driver's side ball joint. There are new ball joints all around, and then they're like, your steering idler arm is loose, and then you got to tighten that. And they said you need new bushings and all this kind of stuff.
So it's a piece of shit. I know I said I liked your truck, but I think I was just being nice. That thing's a hunk of junk, isn't it?
No, it is not a hunk of junk. It's got personality.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want a new truck. You know what? A new truck doesn't turn heads. And I'm not all about turning heads, but I'm about breaking necks, not turning heads.
Now you turn a lot of heads. Okay.
It's a nice truck. Anyways, they say, well, like the front end stuff I can do myself. You know, that's a fun Saturday
That's easy
project
stuff.
with the boys, with some unpaid labor from Benjamin over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, so then they're like, that's what it needs. But then they said with the choke, they said the choke wasn't working. And I'm like, why is that? And they said there wasn't a good ground on it, or the ground fell off. We got to run a new ground. And I'm like, well, no wonder it wouldn't start. The choke's not even working. So then they fixed that. And then I called them up like the next week, like Wednesday. Did you get it running? Oh yeah, it's running. We're just adjusting it, you know, because you got to tune the carburetor when you adjust the choke and kind of dick around with that, the idle and everything. And so it's also like a high performance engine. The guy who I bought it from, he put a cam in it, and he put a Holley 4-barrel carburetor on it, and then he did something with the pistons. I don't even know. It's like he like souped it up kind of.
Okay.
Pro tip: do not buy something that has a different engine than what was in it, unless you put it in there, and don't buy some souped up thing
That's 40 years old.
when you didn't soup it up. Yeah, because you should see my underneath my
years
hood. There's wires going There's wires.
Yeah, it's a rat nest in there.
It's a whole rat's nest. But you know what?
Looks like you.
Got
Gotta-
hungry one day and
No, it looks like you got a bird nest on a baitcaster for the first time.
that'd be like a good shirt, like with an engine open and then like whatever.
I don't know about that.
That'd be kind of good. You guys
say.
let us know on that. We're gonna make some merchandise here. If I were to make merchandise, I'd make some underwear, maybe some lingerie.
Mark, we are not making lingerie or underwear.
Calvin Klein is a very
We'll stick
rich
to
man.
hats and shirts, sweatshirts to start.
Okay, we can figure that out later. Anyways, they said the carburetor, whatever, they were adjusting it. Okay, and then here I'm thinking, okay, it's been here a week and a half. Hopefully by Friday they should have it done. Friday they call me. Hey, yeah, so we got it all good to go. Started it up, but it still didn't seem like it was running right. So we took out the plugs and we cleaned them, and there was a lot of fuel buildup because, like I said, I turned up the idle speed so that it was just running a little higher than it needs to. So if there's going to be more carbon buildup on the spark plugs and stuff like that. So they said they took them out, they cleaned them, they let the cylinders air out. And then I'm like, okay, call them up on Monday. Have you guys gotten anywhere? Well, we put the plugs back in and it started up good, but then it shut off after like 5 to 7 minutes. And I'm like, that's weird. And that's happened to me a couple times before where I'll be like start it up, I drive it, drives fine. But whenever I park it somewhere and like run inside of the house to grab something,
It's off.
5 minutes, I come back outside, it's off. And then I got to start it up and it like chugs a little bit, but then it eventually starts. And I'm just like, you know what? Good enough. It's an old truck. So then like it's somewhere it's like I don't really care. It's an inconvenience, but so what? I got to start it when I get out there. It's, you know, I got too much stuff on my plate. So anyways, they said, well, I said I did notice, well, this is another story. This one time I was driving home from working out, and I was driving and then I hit a bump, and I was also on the phone with my mom, and I wasn't really paying attention to how I was driving. I hit a bump and then the truck shut off, and I thought, oh, because I was slowing down to go through not a red light, but like a an intersection.
Sure.
And so I was slowing down, but I kept it in high gear. So then I thought, oh, I just stalled it. So I try and start it, won't start. Eventually, long story short, I got to get towed by my dad up to the farm I work at, whatever. I start looking around on the engine. Why won't it start? It's getting fuel. I can smell it. What the hell's going on? And then finally, the wire came out of the distributor, the power wire. It was a loose connection. So I had to fix that, plug that back in. Anyways, they says to me, the starter coil on the distributor is all burnt. And I'm like, okay, replace it then, So then they replaced it.
Yeah.
And then after that, then they said, well, it's weird. It still shuts off. And then they're like, we can't figure it out. And I'm like, the only other time it does that for me is when I'm like, have like the defrosters on or like the air conditioning on. And every so often when the compressor turns on, it puts extra strain on the belt for the engine,
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's the only thing I can think of. They call me back like maybe a couple hours later. What we figured out is that it's running out of fuel. The fuel pump is shutting off, and then the carburetor bowl is draining all the fuel, and then it's shutting off. But for some reason, the fuel pump is on when you start the truck, and then it says not anymore, and then it shuts off.
Sounds like you got a lot of issues, Mark.
A lot of sweat equity.
A lot of loose connection. You know what they say? You'd rather have a tight connection than a loose connection.
That is true. That could be true in multiple scenarios.
We'll leave it at that.
Looks like you're dealing. Well, anyways.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Okay. But anyways, then they're like, well, that's what it was. And I'm like, okay. So the guy before me there's a fuel pump obviously in the tank, and then there's a fuel regulator right above the carburetor on the firewall. And then the two relays for it are just to the left of it. Well, apparently, long story short, they called me like 3 hours later on Friday and said, the truck is ready. So I picked it up and it runs good. But what happened was, I don't want to get too long in this, but I feel like some people are interested in like trucks. But
yeah.
But anyways, they said that one relay was powering another, and then one relay had a constant hot lead from somewhere, from one of the rat's nest wires. So they said one of the relays was burnt, and then the other one was hooked up to the key ignition, So then what happened was they just cut the hot lead, and then they wired it up to my key. So when it's in the on position, the fuel pump runs and the choke works. So that's what the two relays were for, the choke and the fuel pump. So now it runs when your key is in the on position, and then when you turn it on, obviously whatever. But then if you ever stall it, you got to turn the key completely off, because if you turn the key just in accessory mode, the fuel pump will run. So you don't want to, you can't just like sit there and listen to the radio. But that's fine. Anyway, so that was the problem. So then I get it back, and like I go out there to start it, and it sounds different, because I just put a brand new starter in there like a month ago, and it was the world of difference was like, it sounded like, okay, can you tell what kind of car it is starting up by the way it sounds when it starts? Or like what brand?
Well, I know my different cars sound
I know, but like,
different.
Do you agree that like Ford trucks or like Ford cars, like Explorers, when they start up, I feel like they start up when they sound like faster. Whereas if you like a Chevy, like a 5.3 Chevy, it goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the little voice thing.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I kind of get like, I mean, my A4 sounds different than my truck, because my truck's a diesel and it's a pickup. It's a whole different engine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but like
of course it's gonna sound different.
For most of you guys at home, you guys can probably tell that like when you're if you guys care about cars or are kind of autistic like me, then you guys like listen. Acoustic. But no, but like when you're walking in the parking lot, you guys can tell that, just when you listen, like a Ford Explorer sounds different than like a Chevy 5.3 starting up.
Really?
That's just what I'm saying. So
I know what you're saying.
Anyway, so you can feel that. But anyways, when I was starting it, it sounded like it was really slow. Like the engine was like tight, and it was just a brand new starter, and the starter was like working, but it just sounded like less power, like.
Dude, I love the voices you're doing.
I've heard that I got a good voice for radio, a good face for radio.
Yeah.
Anyways,
maybe not a face. Maybe a voice, not a face.
Eyes without a face. A little Billy Idol, not sponsored. Anyways.
Not sponsored.
So then, anyways.
How many freaking times?
Put that on a shirt. So then, anyways.
Bad, actually.
But No, then it's just sounded rough. But then it would, of course, it would start right away, like after a couple turns, just because they did all this work to it. But it was just slow to like start to turn over. Whatever, got it home that night, cool. The next day, drove it. It still took a while, but I'm like, it starts, so I guess I don't really care. It's like it'd be more of a problem if it was doing it like it was, where it's slow and it doesn't start. Anyways, but then so I, go to church go to church, whatever. And then today I get to Ben's and I started it to get here, and it like still did the same thing. And when I got here, I'm like, you know what? I got 10 minutes. This just doesn't sound right. Let me figure this out. So I turn off.
It turned into an hour.
Turned off the truck, turned it back on, chugged, didn't really start. Turned it off, turned it back on again, didn't start. So then I'm like, well, maybe the battery's just fried. Maybe the mechanics, I don't know what they did, but they could have done something where the battery's just junk. So then I take Ben loaned me one of his 2 batteries from his F250. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
And put that in there. Still did the same thing. So I'm like, okay, it's not the battery. Then I'm like, well, what the hell could it be? Because I don't know if you guys have ever tried to jump a car before, but if you swap the red and the black, the engine like, you know what I mean? It like bogs down. It like sounds like it wants to reverse. You know what I mean?
I can tell between the two. I don't ever put them on the wrong connection.
I know, but sometimes if you do, try it once, your engine will like slow down. Anyways, I'm like, is that?
Did you just tell him to try that? Why would you tell him? No, do not take that advice. Don't.
The greatest way to learn is by doing.
Do not. Disclaimer. Mark did not mean to say that. Do not put the connections opposite from each other.
Is what we're trying to say. Try it your own
That's what you're trying to say. I'm trying to say don't do it.
Anyways, but I'm like, this is a stupid thought, but I thought, when they were wiring something up, did they just cross the wires, and now for some reason, which doesn't make any sense now that I think about it, because nothing electrical would work if they swapped the wires in a bad ground and whatever. So I'm dicking around with it. I'm in my nice Sunday clothes,
It was a little party shirt. It was a little bar shirt.
My little party shirt. The ladies like
birdie
to be a
pants.
little frisky with the shirt.
Birdie pants.
Anyways, well, to be honest with you, the other day I went to work, and then I got home at night and I went to the bathroom and I realized I had my barn door open the whole day. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, but it's all right.
No,
So you should keep your flies closed and your ears open, right?
Exactly. That's what we like to say here on the Benchmark Radio Podcast.
Benchmark Podcast Radio.
Benchmark Radio. The place where you go when you want to know
how to fish. Just kidding. We do not.
We're casters.
We're castermen, not fishermen here.
Caster. I'll finish my story. So then,
I don't know where you're going with this. Finish it.
Anyways, so then I go down.
Anyways, we're putting that on a shirt. We're gonna do it.
Okay.
Anyways, but.
And then I'm down there, and then I'm like, well, maybe it's the starter, but it's a brand freaking new starter.
It didn't sound like a starter though.
I know it. Like usually when it's a bad starter, it clicks or it's like buzzes or hisses or sparks or something, and then exactly. And then it's like it's trying to engage, but then anyways, I go down there, I jiggle the wires, see a few sparks.
Jiggling them wires, you like doing that, don't you?
See a few sparks because I didn't disconnect the battery. Pro tip: disconnect the battery if you're going to work on your starter. Disconnect it. And I didn't want to disconnect my battery because you know what I had to do?
You would have reconnected.
No, I got to reprogram all my radio stations.
Big radio guy.
Big talk show in the morning. You like a little click and clack.
I live in 2024. I have Bluetooth. I don't really. I'm done with the radio.
I live in 2024. I listen to podcasts.
Like I do too. I listen to the Benchmark Podcast
Radio podcast, found where all podcasts can be found. Anyways, then I go down there with a socket, and then I tighten up the positive connection on the battery. We hook up a battery charger to it because by all this dicking around, the battery's dead. And then I went out there about good 15 minutes ago, started it up, and it started up. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
I should be.
We'll talk a little bit about my car now that we talked about your truck.
Yeah, that
was
a long.
That was way too
sorry
long.
about that, ladies and gentlemen. But once we get you listening, your ears are peaked and perked.
Yeah, we're German Shepherds out here, are we?
We're German Shepherds. We're ready to go with
like whatever. A German Shepherd. We'll perk your ears right up.
And we'll. I don't even know, whatever. But
you weren't going anywhere that one. That's all good. Yeah, no.
So Benny's got a few vehicles here. He's got more vehicles than me. He's got, I'd say, more eclectic but nicer condition vehicles.
Yeah.
Is that what you would you agree with that?
I would say so.
He's more of like a hood car collector, whereas I'm like a farmer. I'm like a farmer.
A hood?
Yeah.
You just call me a hoodlum?
A little bit. That's kind of what I feel like your genre is.
How?
I don't know. That's just what I feel. I'm like a farm collector where it's like,
I've
yeah,
owned three brands of vehicles.
I know, but I'm saying like my vehicle type is like I'm a farmer, and it's like if it's a piece of crap, I don't care as long as it runs, it'll do work.
Oh yeah, no, I like nice shit.
Exactly. Whereas yours, you're like a nicer. I feel like you're bumping. You know what I mean? Kind of like.
I've only owned Audis, Fords, and one Volkswagen.
So go through. What was your first vehicle when you turned 16?
I think it was 15 when I had it. No, I was 16. It was a 1991 Audi 80 Quattro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I still have it.
How many miles?
Oh fuck, what was it?
200. 1G.
No, it's got a $165, $167 right now.
That's pretty good. Those things are pretty rare, I hear.
I think I got it at a $140. It's like 170 right now, probably.
Those
I don't
things
know.
are pretty rare, right?
Yeah, they only made. I think it was 4,000 in the U.S. But I know of one other person that has one in the state of Wisconsin. That's it.
That's pretty cool, right there.
And his is front wheel drive, so it's not even the exact same.
It's not even the Quattro version.
No, but it's in the process of me doing a rebuild right now. So I got phase 1 done.
What was phase 1 exactly?
I mean, I'm not getting into all the technicals, but it was basically suspension, brakes, and like I did all the new control arms, sway bar links, all that good stuff. Bushings. It's got this hard plastic. I think it's not polyether. I don't know. It starts with a P.
Polyurethane?
I think so. It's a real hard plastic.
Okay.
So
polypropylene?
it rides like a brick. I drove it once after everything.
Where's the hard plastic?
It's the bushing.
Oh, the bushing. Okay.
Yeah, so all new bushings. I think it was new. No, I redid the subframe. I just like grinded it all down because it had surface rust.
With a wire wheel.
Yeah, and then I painted that, and then.
What kind of paint did you use?
At Rust Aluminum, or the fuck.
Rust-Oleum?
I can never say the name. I primed it first, but no. So
you got the Audi Quattro.
Yeah,
that
one is lowered now too.
Oh really?
So yeah, so I got lowering springs on it.
Aren't you making it into a rally car?
Yeah, that's so it can be a road rally car. So it's set up for road rally right now.
Is that a convertible? No.
No.
Okay. I thought it was for some reason.
So next I got the brakes aren't really working right now. That's the issue. So when I was driving, I had to be careful. Because I was still trying to, I was going back and forth. I was just really trying to see how stiff it is on that. Because it was like a 15-minute drive to park it where it's parked now inside. But
you said you told him it's a manual?
Oh, I didn't. But yeah, it's a 5-speed manual. Oh, it's an inline 5-cylinder, 2.3-liter inline 5. So it's got a really unique sound. I put a flex pipe in it, so now it doesn't leak anymore. It sounds good. It's still got a weird idle thing. But I used to beat the piss out of that thing. I mean, every 16-year-old beats the piss out of their vehicle. But I used to redline shift for 4 hours straight when I'd cruise around with my friends. And
I remember that.
It takes the beating. I've had it in a ditch 6 times. And
out in the snow? I remember you took videos of it in the snow.
I was an idiot.
You still are an idiot.
Yeah, well, I'm not 16 and an idiot. But, no, I still have that.
Did you beat teen pregnancy yet?
Yeah.
You did?
Not a teenager.
I know, you're 20.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So what was your second vehicle then? You had the Quattro. You were like, this is cool, but now I want something nice.
What was my second car?
Wasn't it the Volkswagen?
Oh, yeah, the Passat wagon.
The Shagen wagon.
That thing was fun. I should have never sold that. That was also manual. That was a 1.8, though.
You sold that?
Yeah.
How much?
I think it was 40-something. 40-something. 100.
Yeah.
Not 1,000. No, that was a fun car. It was front-wheel drive. That's why I sold it. I didn't like it. But, and then I had my Audi A4. Not the one I have now. That one was a piece of shit. And then I actually got in an accident. An old lady pulled out in front of me.
Yeah.
And then I had
That was in the falls.
Yeah, so I got
it was her fault, right?
Yeah, I got $5,400 from that piece of shit. It was not worth more than $2,500. Then I got the Ranger. I had the S4 for a little while. The Ranger,
not the one from out west, the one from Florida.
Yes, the Ranger. That was a stupid purchase. That was the only vehicle I've ever lost on.
That one had like 250,000 on it.
Yeah, 255. Or yeah, I only put a few thousand on that.
That was a automatic. No, it was a manual.
It was a manual. That one was a manual.
It was pretty clean. It was just.
It was clean. No, it was a
basic
good.
truck.
It was a good truck.
That was
I
a
just
V6.
I didn't
air
like it.
conditioning.
No, it was.
Well, that was the 4.
It was a 4-cylinder.
The 4 air conditioning. It was like a 2004, 3.
No, 2011.
Really?
Yeah, it was an 11.
Wow.
Had that nice bumper on there.
It did have a nice like rugged country
It
bumper.
was a solid steel.
It was a good like work truck, but it was just too small.
It was too small. It wasn't comfortable for me, and I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I lost like $2,000 on that one.
You live, you learn,
Yeah.
as I have demonstrated.
And then obviously I got the truck, the 6.0,
F250 2003.
and then I got this newer, nicer 80 or A4, 6-speed manual. Those things are fun.
It's got a turbo on it.
Yep. Like 8 pounds of boost, 10 pounds of boost maybe.
It's not too shabby.
Just stock.
Enough to haul your heifers around, right?
I got no heifers. No heifers are fitting in that one.
You sure?
It's a small car.
Oh, that's true. There is actually I saw on speaking of heifers, I saw on Platteville's web or Instagram, they had like for Valentine's Day like a dating thing like that they put on, the school put on, and I texted my buddy and I said if anybody decides to go here like a matchmaking event to actually legitimately pick up chicks, you're gonna have to bring like a horse trailer with you if you plan on leaving there with somebody.
Yeah, Platteville is not known for their women.
They're real close to Iowa, so they got all those corn-fed Iowa
Different breed.
ladies.
Well, I suppose.
Well, I suppose.
Should we do our little jingle? I think we edited it.
Did you get it ready?
Let me sing it. Get my beat going.
All right.
Up here in Wisconsin, what a beautiful state. In our neck of the woods where we find it so great. Start up your engine and come join the show on the Benchmark Podcast Radio. Well, thank you for watching today, guys. We appreciate the support. Should we do a poll today? What we do a poll for?
We did.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite car? I don't know. We'll figure something. We'll try to figure something out.
I think we said something in here. It was about Costco.
Oh yeah.
Like what kind of food court items? Because I do think that there's different food court
I don't
items.
think there's. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thanks for watching, guys, or
The
listening.
YouTube is really blowing up. I didn't think this, but people actually really like watching it. I thought they were just like listening to it, like when they're driving.
Well, they want to see who's talking. You know?
Exactly. I guess I didn't realize that. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stop at your local Quick Trip while you're enjoying this episode. And this episode is best enjoyed with a glazer and some coffee.
It really is. Listen to us on your way to work, or on your way home from work.
Or if you want to escape the wife and kids.
Yeah, right. Just grab a beer.
A garage beer. This is a good garage.
Yeah.
Watching a thunderstorm, kind of listening.
I don't know where you get the thunderstorm from, but
have you never watched a thunderstorm?
yeah, but I'm not gonna listen to a podcast while I do it. If I'm watching a thunderstorm,
This is kind of like a good
okay,
relaxing.
we're rambling too much.
You know what?
We're rambling too much.
All right. Well,
All right.
My old lady here is telling me that
Oh, okay.
I gotta shut up.
All right, buddy. Well, too
All right,
much
well,
there.
You guys keep your ears open and your flies closed.
All right. I suppose. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.